Okay, so I've been doing a Gilmore Girls rewatch, right? And I was on season 4, was it? Okay, but I was in the part of the series where unfortunately Jason Styles comes into the picture, and so he's like plot relevant. And so they're having conversations, and so in one of the scenes of one of the Friday night dinners, the grandparents bring up that they had to go to this benefit, and it was for fibromyalgia, which one, I've literally like never in my life, and I've watched Gilmore Girls since I was much younger, so I don't no, like I just had absolutely no memory of it, even though I have like very specific memories from other scenes, which I didn't even realize I had. But outside of that, so nobody ever says fibromyalgia, like ever in any piece of media. Like I just never heard anybody say it before, and I don't even mean that in a funny way. I mean that in a real way. And so, um, but I was watching it, and then the second thing when they're talking about it is that it was such a like boring fundraiser, like benefit sort of thing, that it was like very like it wasn't interesting whatsoever, and there wasn't like good conversation, whatever. And then there's like plot relevant information with like Jason and Lorelai's relationship, but then later on in a different scene in the same episode, Lorelai's having a conversation with Jason, and so the benefit gets brought up, and so he said, and Jason says something about how there was a benefit that fibromyalgia is like a very dull disease, and one, aside from the fact that like fibromyalgia is not a disease, it's a disorder that has to do with like neurological pathways, whatever. Outside of that, I got so fucking pissed. I literally like screamed at the TV because the like last few days before I had watched it, like the last 2 or 3 days, I had had such terrible flare up of so many of my symptoms. Like I could barely, like I couldn't do anything. Like I was just existing, doing absolutely fuck nothing, and I was in so much pain. Like I could not, like aside, like I couldn't walk. I could barely get around my house. And that day specifically, it was like a Wednesday, I think, because I had thrown up twice. Like I woke up in the morning from just like my slumber, if you will. And so I woke up and the feeling of like utter nausea just hit me. And so I like immediately got out of my bed and vomited my guts out. Like there was like it was so terrible. And so then I tried to drink water and that was a mistake. And so I threw that up like not even an hour later. And so later that night, I'm like sitting with a bunch of like heating pads and stuff, and I have like a trash bin or whatever near me to make sure that if I throw up, I'm not gonna like throw up all over myself in my bed, because I'm like lying down in the like middle of the night, like not even middle of the night, it was like early evening. And so I'm watching it, and he says it's a dull disease, and I literally screamed at the fucking TV. I was like, "Fuck you, Jason!" So I don't know if that's anything, but